Yo, me chechi a woman wakabaso kokura edubana nanum TV so. Ghana for sine ahye mo boss na nanum TV die. Nse bi e bekoso o man mu se fa egudie ani gidie amanyo ahenzam. E dia to bo relaxing. So that as nyabo trama ho. Here ni say na ase hu na forward here o de ha ho fa phone. For ko YouTube. Ko YouTube a ko search center na bona nanum TV. Obo na nanum TV a bo se beba o de subscribe. O subscribe ya bo mo na mi notification bell no so. Sa da ma mi no bo mo na mi aso. Umia so na nanum TV nya upload video pe. Obenya nka ye say ya upload video no akohwe. Se na be you will be the first to watch na nanum TV videos. Because we are bo mo na like videos, comment was here. They track to bo mo na share mo no ebi no ebi so nye bi hwe. Mi din a mi di so ne na ya wasare. Usha no kroma bo mi din na nanom meje so mecha wa de fefefe. Na se bo ran sem numu dia ye bo ra ye openi ba ko pa organ ha wa bi un sika sem ye pa and di ne ona bo Terkper. E ka ona bo Terkper a e ya kana bandada e ya Brother John Ramani Mahama e dia ade se Ghana mampeni onno no ye Ghana ya photo sample anase ya finance minister. Ode se bia betudwa and na Danko Kufuado say almost pay $2 billion or IMF International Monetary Fund. And I saw Nkane for the Ghana photo sound for the other two guys saying, come to be in Viasia a year IMF and I said International Monetary Fund for Musiki. Our mama even $1 billion at that. And $2 billion in Ghana man being another Danko Kufuado and kind of react to some open and Yadia Beijuma. Mi sem say na ana bo Terkper dia betuja but am en kotie dia ona bo Terkper tuja ne embra ye ba be do nso ade nche na me ka o say aha na nanum TV me en kotie na embra sisia.
I like to set this stage just to say that maybe there was something fundamentally wrong, and especially the notion that we were doing well before 2020 needs to be re-examined, and I can go to two sources. The IMF Article 4 started to revise our deficit from 4.5, 5.9 to 7, and then to 7.2. Similarly, they started revising our debt. The fiscal gap was calculated then at about 3 to 5% if you make adjustments. Then came COVID, and that fiscal gap was also there, about 3 to 6%. We did indicate in the COVID report that the fiscal gap to be about 3%. And if you take all of this, it's far more than 3% of GDP. If that was truly the gap, we know where we are, today. So I'd like us to look at these two things, the adjustments that were made in official IMF reports, and you can take the Article 4, 2021. I say this also to draw attention to the fact that the fund is not ignorant in the negotiations. The fund is not ignorant in the negotiations. And they have been producing these reports with the concurrence of the authorities, as they call them. So I just like to, point out to, this. The highest we have had by way of intervention was HIPIC, which is about 3 billion. No government, Mr. W, the list, no government ever got 1 billion to do a correction from Dr. Bojo's time. The highest was, 915, which we did. 2 tranches, of course, came after 2017 to the current administration, right? So if we're talking about these volumes of funds, then we should be examining, some of the, excuse me, some of the assumptions, which we are setting for this discussion. Because being honest with ourselves is one of the things that we have to do, which was like shocking the nation and telling them, that single spine was taking about 70% of tax revenue, and we needed to bring it down. Or telling the nation we are not that well. Right. So the causes are twofold. It can be internal, domestic, and it can be external.